King Nebuchadnezzar made a massive gold statue. It was really big. Then he called all his important leaders together, and one of his advisors made an announcement. Hear ye, a message from the king. When you hear lots of musical instruments being played, you must come out and bow down and worship this statue. And if you do not, you will be thrown into a blazing furnace. And then, because King Nebuchadnezzar wanted to get going, immediately the music began, and so all the people who were there bowed down and worshipped the gold statue. And then some Babylonians came to the king. King Nebuchadnezzar, you are such a good king. We hope you live forever. You just made a law that everyone had to bow down to the statue when the music played, and if they didn't, they'd get thrown into the fire. Well, there are some men from Judah who ignored your law. They are called Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They didn't bow down and worship the statue. This made the king so angry. He called for the three men. Is it true you didn't bow down and worship my statue? I'll give you another chance, and you must do what I say, or you will be thrown into the fire, and no God will be able to save you from my power. The three friends were quick to answer. King Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to defend ourselves to you. You can throw us into the fire. Our God is able to save us from the fire and from you. But even if he doesn't save us, we want you to know this. We will not serve you and your gods. We will not worship this statue, because we will only worship the one true God. This made King Nebuchadnezzar even more angry, and so he ordered that the furnace be heated 7 times hotter than normal, and commanded his soldiers to throw the men into the fire. So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were thrown into the fire in the very robes they were wearing. As the king watched, his anger turned to fear. Didn't we tie up 3 men? Didn't we throw 3 of them into the fire? Well, now they're walking around, and look, there are 4 of them. Quick, get them out. So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were pulled out the fire, and everyone saw that the fire had not harmed their bodies, and their robes were not burned. They didn't even smell of smoke. The king was wowed. Praise the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Their God has sent an angel and saved them from the fire. These 3 men trusted their God. They refused to obey me, and they were willing to die rather than serve any other god. So now I will make a new law. No one must say anything bad about the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. It must have taken a lot of courage for Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to stand up to King Nebuchadnezzar. Did you hear what they said to him? God is able to save us, but even if he doesn't, we will not worship anything but him. They knew that following God was more important, even if it meant they died. God's power is bigger than King Nebuchadnezzar's, and God did save them. That wasn't what the king was expecting to happen. Fire normally burns things up, but God protected them and kept them safe. Sometimes, often even, it takes courage to stand up for Jesus, to obey God when it means standing against the things of this world. Maybe it's inviting a friend to church, or telling them about Jesus, or not doing something that God has commanded us not to do, even though everyone else is doing it. And sometimes it might mean facing suffering and trials, our own fiery furnaces. But God is bigger than them. And as Paul writes in Romans chapter 8, God is working all things for the good of his people. Sometimes he doesn't save us from the hard things, but he will use them for our ultimate good.